All right, welcome to a tutorial that's going to cover everything that a RePublic student does in their first week of computer programming class once they've gotten on the computers. This tutorial is assuming that you've already set up an account. There's a good link in the description if you need help doing that. So before we dive into any code, we need to understand how the interface is laid out. This area over here is called our canvas. This is sort of where all the action takes place. This is also what the public will see when they look at our program. Down here we have our sprites, and sprites are just objects that are used in our program. And then this area over here is where we're going to drag our code. Now, just like any other code, we've got lines of code that we're going to build. The only difference is they've sort of pre-written the lines and stored them in these blocks. And this makes sort of getting introduced to the basic concepts of programming really, really easy, and it lets you dive straight into what matters and not getting caught up in like all the syntax of typed out code. So I want to make my cat move across the screen. So as you can probably guess, I'm going to grab the move block. Now when I click it, you can see the cat is in fact moving. However, like I'm doing, you're probably finding yourself clicking the move over and over again. Well, the good news is computers are great at doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to come to control, and I'm going to have the computer do this for me. I'm going to get a forever block. And this means do the same thing over and over again forever. Now there's a couple of different ways to do this. We could use like a repeat block, which repeats something a certain number of times, or we could repeat until something else happens. But right now I just want it to happen forever. So I'm going to snap my move block inside my forever block. And now when I click forever, you can see the cat is moving over and over and over again. Our canvas, however, does not go on forever. So eventually the cat reaches the edge, and this is a bit anticlimactic. I can drag the cat back out, but that's still not very fun. What I want to do is I want to have the cat move back and forth across the screen. So I'm going to come to motion, and I'm going to grab a block that says if on edge, bounce. And now sure enough, the cat is bouncing off the edges. So this is a good time to point out that when the public looks at your program, this is what they're going to see. If I go to the C project page, this is what they're going to view. And now notice they can't click the blocks. They do, however, have this green flag, though, and right now that's not doing anything. We're going to set this up to be user-friendly. We're going to say, hey, start looping this code when the green flag is clicked. And now I can test it by clicking that green flag. So things are looking great. However, I don't like that the cat flips upside down. What's really going on under the hood is that it's just rotating the image 180 degrees, but that's causing the cat to flip upside down. So there's a really cool feature that allows you to set the rotation style. I want to set it to left to right so that it doesn't flip upside down. So if I snap this in my code, sure enough, it sets it to left and right. However, this isn't the best way to do it. What's happening here is over and over and over again, it's resetting the rotation style. But it's something that only needs to happen once. And so we're actually wasting valuable computer resources, like we're slowing our computer down by making it do that over and over again. So instead, I'm going to snap this below where the green flag is clicked. And now when the user presses go, it's going to set the rotation style once, and it doesn't have to worry about it anymore. So we've got a basic program set up. And so you'll notice below this video, there's some challenges. You can get through large parts of the challenges with just this code. I do want to show you a couple of other blocks real quickly. Notice every time that we hit stop and go, the cat just picks up where it left off. Well, if you're making a video or a program or a game, you probably want things to start in a certain place. And so we can use this great block, go to, and this canvas is like a coordinate plane. It has an X value and a Y value. And you can see those listed down here. So if I put this in place, and now once again, I don't want to put this in my forever code, I just want it to start there. And this code that's right below where the green flag is clicked is called reset code. It means right when the game starts, do some stuff, and then go into our loops. So I've set X and Y to where the cat currently is. So notice now if I stop over here on the left and start again, the cat will move back to where it's told. Just like a graph, if I start the cat at X position 0 and Y position 0, it's going to start the cat right in the middle of the screen. So this is a way to determine where things start. You can also control things like the way that the cat looks. You can change the size, and you can make the cat actually say things. So if I drag say hello into my reset code, the cat's going to say hello while it walks back and forth. If I want to remove a block, I can just unsnap it from my code and drag it back over here, and it will go away. One other great feature in Scratch is that it allows you to work with costumes. So far, all we've been dealing with is blocks of code. If I switch to this middle tab, I'm able to control more of the animation of the cat. Notice as my cat's running across the screen, it doesn't really look like it's walking. It's just moving the same image back and forth. When we animate, just like you may have done as a kid where you draw in the corner of a notebook and then flip the pages to see like it moved, that's what we're going to do with Scratch. Notice that there are these two different costumes. And as I switch the costumes back and forth, it starts to make it look like the cat is running. Well, I can control it switching back and forth with my code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to switch to costume 2 and then switch back to costume 1 to toggle. But notice when I do that, you still don't really see a change. And the reason is because computers do things really, really quickly. So it is actually changing costumes just so fast that you can't see it. So I'm going to take advantage of a block that says wait. And I'm going to put a wait in between that costume change. And now notice you can see the cat now changing costumes. But when we put this wait block inside of our loop, it's also making the movement wait as well. This gets us to a really important concept in programming called parallelism. Parallelism means we can run two different lines of code at the same time. Actually, we can run as many different blocks of code as we want at the same time. So I'm going to get a new when the green flag is clicked. I'm going to start a new repeat, and I'm going to put my costume changes here. And I also noticed that it changes the costume to, waits, goes to 1, and then immediately back to 2. So I actually need 2 wait blocks. And now, as the cat's moving, you can see every second the costume changes without interrupting the motion of the cat. As you were looking through the looks menu, you may have noticed that there's a button or a block that says next costume. This allows me to accomplish the exact same effect, but with less blocks of code, which means the program is going to run faster. Now I feel like 1 second is a little bit too long, so I'm going to change this to say 0.3. You can put any number that you want inside of there, and it will represent that in time. So now our cat actually looks like it's sliding across the screen. The last thing to point out in this tutorial is that this white background is awfully boring. We can change our backdrop or stage by going to choose a backdrop from the library. You can also draw your own or take a picture with your webcam. I'm going to choose one from their library, the one called Brick Wall. And notice now my cat is moving along this nice backdrop. And suddenly we're now actually really starting to look like a game or an animation, and there's a lot of different directions we can go with this. I want you to now move down to the challenges below this video. You'll notice that there's a Scratch editor embedded into the website. Work out each one. There's a video next to it that will show you what the final product should look like. And if you really get stuck or you want to check your work, you can look at the video at the very bottom of this page that's called Solutions. Thanks a lot.